You're just tired of having to think about this dissertation, knowing that there's such a better life after that awaits for you if you'll be able to put the time, effort, and give it the attention that needs to be done. If so, this episode is for you. On this episode from ABD to PhD show, we're going to talk about the reasons why not finishing your dissertation is stalling your life. And so, what I do know and why we're doing this episode is that you want to finish your dissertation, you know you have the skills, but sometimes it's just missing the strategy or missing some component that is not allowing you to finish. But life is still happening. And while life is still happening, sometimes you can just feel ashamed and feel embarrassed that you haven't been able to finish this project when previously in other aspects of your life, you've been very successful and been able to do things very quickly. And so on this episode, I'm going to talk about why this process might be stalling your life and what you can do to reframe your thinking. Because if you don't get out of your head through this journey, you will stay stuck in the same place and have that ABD title forever. And so if you are just tuning in, this is from ABD to PhD show. I'm your host, Dr. Ron Goings, founder of Done Dissertation, where we demystify the dissertation process so that doctoral students can write and defend their dissertation in 1 year or less. If you're a doctoral student in need of support and want to work with us, and learn more about our program, our Velocity Group coaching program, which has the goal to help you write and defend either your dissertation proposal or final dissertation over the course of a 4-month time period, go ahead and visit www.velocitydissertation.com to learn more, or you can pause the video and scan the QR code here. And again, it's www.velocitydissertation.com to learn more about our program and to apply. Because again, there's no reason that you should have to go through this process alone when there is a support structure here for you. So again, on this episode, we're going to talk about all things why not finishing your dissertation is stalling your life. And look, there's one thing I do know. I will always stand on this. As a person with a doctorate, I did not get into this work to take a vow of poverty. I have no reason why, and I don't feel guilty in saying that because I've heard a lot when I talk to a lot of folks, they have this kind of almost like limited and lacking money mindset. And I'm all about no, you have gotten your doctorate, you have invested thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in your education. Why should you not be able to recruit what you've invested and also make money and develop wealth for your family? There is nothing wrong with that. But what I do know, by not finishing your dissertation, you are literally missing out on opportunities to advance at your work and in your career. We've seen it happen over and over and over again. And one thing I want to tell you all, because like I said, I always keep it up front about how this thing works in terms of income, money, all those things. The money hits different with the doctor in front of your name than it does right now without it, without a doubt. And you may even be saying, you know what, I make great money in my career currently, but there's an opportunity because you have this degree, and what this degree in terms of the prestige it gives you in terms of what it means in the workforce or even working for yourself in that matter, it really does give you an opportunity to make substantially more income. And this is the case because I work with a number of executives as well as I work with a number of folks in disciplines where they make high earnings, like lawyers in particular. And so they understand that even as a lawyer, there's a cap at some extent. And with the doctorate, they have way more options combination of their legal background to do certain things and to command more as a consultant, as an attorney, etc. And you have the opportunity to do the same as well. And then what I do know, right, is that when you're missing out on those opportunities to advance at work in your career, it's not only about the money, right? And for some of you all, it's about the opportunities that you're getting overlooked for. Just to give an example of how this works and why our program helps speed people up is shout out to Dr. Gant. Dr. Gant was a client of ours. And at the time, she was actually in a very high role at the organization that she worked for, and was recognizing that there are some other opportunities to move up and change the title to demand more money and a salary and some other things that come along with that if she was able to finish her doctorate. And so what she ended up doing, when she worked with us, she was passed her proposal defense and had collected her data, and we helped her, write up her findings and finish the process. And just in that 4-month time frame, she was able to do that working with us. Right after that, within the next 2 to 3 months, she got a whole new position that was actually like 2 steps higher than what she was initially going to get from the start. So you have to imagine that there are opportunities that you are being overlooked for because you haven't finished. And I'll even give an example. Somebody I knew who was trying to finish their dissertation just earlier on in the process, and they also too had a higher position. And I know they got overlooked for a couple of opportunities only because they didn't have the degree. The degree was the key in order to unlock those opportunities. And they didn't even know. So sometimes it's not even about the opportunities that you know about. It's actually sometimes more about the opportunities that you don't know exist. and you not finishing is stalling you from receiving those types of opportunities. And again, I'm all about folks going ahead and get their bag. And like, if you're watching this, in the comments, put a money sign or something, because I am all for people going after income to make sense for your family. We all have to feed our families. There's no reason why as getting a doctor should put you in a vow of poverty. Like, we do meaningful work and we can change lives. And I'm a firm believer that when you change the lives of others, there are monetary opportunities that come with that. And so these are things I really want us to consider. But if we're still sitting stuck and not, being, sulking about the opportunities that we're missing, that's not going to help you get done. But what's happening because you're not getting done, it's stalling you. And so what I want you all to start considering now is like, look, and keep in your mind, I have opportunities that wait me as doctor. I will do whatever it takes to get to that point. And again, I'll say I have opportunities that await for me as doctor, and I will do whatever it takes to get to that point, because there's so much that awaits you as doctor. So I want to make sure you all consider that and not be stalled in this process. And I want you all to get these doctorates and do the meaningful work that you intended to do when you first started your doctoral program. And so for those of y'all just tuning in, again, this is from ABD to PhD show. We are talking about all things about why the dissertation is stalling your life. And if you're someone who is tired of this process stalling your life and you want to do something different, I would encourage you to click and scan the QR code here on the screen to apply and with us to work in our Velocity Group coaching program. And in our Velocity Group coaching program, we have the goal to help you write and defend your dissertation, proposal, or final dissertation over the course of 4 months. So again, scan the QR code to get access to our application and apply. And if you're someone who's watching, you need to get to it a different way, you can go to www.velocitydissertation.com. And again, it's www.velocitydissertation.com. So again, we're talking about all things about why this dissertation process is stalling our lives, and we don't want it to stall your life anymore. So one of the other things I want you all to consider, right? Not only about the missed opportunities at work in your career, but secondly, you are dedicating time to your dissertation that could be better spent with your family and friends. Because what I do know is that while we can recoup money, we can't recoup time. And every minute that you're spending not getting this dissertation done is a minute that you're taking away from someone else. And so in my book, 14 Secrets to a Done Dissertation, I talk a lot about being selfish with your time. And what I do know is that when you become selfish with your time, because the dissertation process can be condensed, you can finish in a year or less. And many of our clients do that. Then you have your time back with family and friends. Like, I know you all are tired of getting asked that whole, are you done with that book yet? And try to go into those family of functions and events, tired of missing out because you got writing to do. Look, I've been there. I know how that goes. I missed out on many of an event as during my education career trying to, obtain my doctorate. And so I understand completely how that goes and what that life and what that feels like. And it can feel, sad because you're missing out. And even for you all with children, right? You're trying to figure out, like, I'm spending all this time doing my writing. My children are getting older. All these thoughts in our minds, right? So what I want you all to consider is like, look, I can't get back the time I've already wasted. So let that go in the past. And I had this, I forgot where I heard this from. I think it was in a movie. I'm trying to remember. It was an interview actually with the former owner of, I think it was, I'm trying to think of the tequila brand that I saw this video, and I really appreciated his mindset. Patron. Sorry, it was the owner and creator of Patron. And during this interview, he was talking about the idea that, what's happened in the past is already written in the newspaper. So it's already documented. You can't change yesterday's news. All you can do is do something different today. And so I would say take that same mindset as like, don't harp so much on the time that you've already wasted, because you can't get that back. It's gone. But now focus on what are the steps that you can take in order to get you one step closer to finishing your dissertation. And I say one step because all it takes is one step, and then a second step, and a third step. If you do this a step at a time, before you look back, you have whole dissertations done, proposals, like the process moves fast. But because you're trying to think about all the time it's going to take to complete everything, it's stalling you from making the first step. And a business coach I like on YouTube, Alex Ramosi, he often talks about this idea that, it feels like insurmountable to complete a task. And almost like it takes you 20 years to make the first step. And when we think about that in our dissertation process, sometimes we've gotten so stuck. We spent a year not doing anything with our dissertation. We are almost ashamed of being able just to start that first step. because we believe that we need to catch up from all the time that we've missed in the past. And that's not it. Take one step that leads to another step. And before you know it, this process gets done. And again, we're talking about on this episode why not finishing your dissertation is stalling your life, because it indeed is every semester that you're moving forward and not finishing. And what's even worse is that I hate to see when you're not finishing because you're just not picking up the document to do anything with it. I want you all to finish. I want you all to succeed. I love when I get messages, if you're on text message community or emails, like when you all defend your dissertation, even if you don't work with us, shoot me a message and let me know. It really brings us a lot of joy at Done Dissertation to know that this content that we're putting out is helping folks to finish. Because we know that if you don't let this process consume you, you can be done and moving on with your life and not have this thing stall you out. And so if you're someone who wants more information and you are tired of being stalled out in this process and want a strategy that will help propel you, I would invite you to apply to work with us in our Velocity Coaching Program, which over the course of 4 months will help you write and defend your dissertation proposal or final dissertation. So if you're interested in learning more, visit www.velocitydissertation.com, or you can pause this video or just go ahead and scan the QR code that's on the screen. It will take you right to the website to apply to work with us. And again, don't let these thoughts about what you've not been able to do get in the way of getting the help and support that you need to get you to the finish line that you so desire. And again, for this episode, we are talking about all things about why the dissertation is stalling your life. And so the last point I want to talk about here is that this dissertation process is stalling your life because it's actually, for some of you all, and we see this over and over again, this process is taking a toll on your physical and mental health. I promise you, I've seen it over and over again. The number of students who are being, having mental health diagnoses, and this process is really causing a lot of stress. And I know for some of y'all, just literally that you just don't sleep easy because this process is looming over your head. Like I know some of y'all went on those great vacations, during your summer or during your breaks, right? You went on those vacations, but while you're on the vacation, either you're bringing your laptop to do the writing and you're kind of like mad, like, shoot, I still got to do writing. I wish I could just focus on my vacation. Or you said, forget that dissertation, I'll leave it at home. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking about it when you're sitting there eating that dinner and getting that room service delivered, right? And so these things happen, and I want us to be mindful that it can start to take a toll on us physically and mentally by not finishing. And this is a reason why it's stalling your life, because it's literally taking a hold of you mentally and physically. We've even seen in our case, I know a number of students who, have become so stressed out by not finishing, these negative thoughts that have been swirling in their head, that literally being stressed out has caused other physical ailments. And I've seen it happen, and it's detrimental. And especially for some of us who might be battling, different types of, different diagnoses that we're trying to manage while going through this process, we want to make this process as quick and as painless as possible. But it takes work to get this done. And if you've been trying to do it on your own and haven't been able to, please don't sit in isolation with yourself. Get the support, get the help that you need. Even if we find that we are not the best support for you, we will push you in the direction of someone else who is. Because again, my goal is to help doctoral students finish. Whether you work with us or not, that's your decision to make. But we want to help people to get out. And I don't want folks taking on enormous amounts of debt to get these degrees and then leaving, or not leaving with the degree, and then leaving with other physical and mental ailments as well that you have to then manage and as you're progressing through the coming years. We don't want that. We want you all to finish. We want you all to get these degrees. So if you're someone that you find that, hey, I've been trying to do it myself, my way hasn't worked, and you're finally ready to get some support to speed up the process, I always invite folks to apply to work with us in our Velocity Group Coaching Program. And what you can do, if it's not for you, forward this on to someone else who needs help and needs to get their dissertation done. Send them the link. Help a friend out, because there are a lot of us who are suffering in silence. And some of those people who are trying to do all these things by themselves and not getting the success that they wanted and being stuck for a year, 2 years, even 3 years. Y'all, it's a lot of money in tuition when you can get some help and support to get through the process. So I would encourage you to visit www.velocitydissertation.com to learn more about our program, or you can scan the QR code here. If you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments wherever you're watching this video. I will jump back in to reply to comments. Again, I wanted to talk briefly about, why this not finishing your dissertation is stalling your life. And I know you're thinking about these things in the back of your head, but I want to bring them to the forefront, because for many of us, we've become so comfortable doing what we've always done and then getting mad at this, that we've gotten the result that we've always gotten. And so as you're thinking about going through your journey, we have to start being mindful about the ways that this process is slowing down our lives in terms of all the other things that we want to do. Remember, this process is keeping you from the bag, keeping you from the money, keeping you from the opportunity. This process has been keeping you from your friends and family and having that time, getting time if you can't get back. And then finally, this process has been taking a toll on your physical and mental health. Like, we want you all to finish because we want you to recapture all these things back, that you are able to make more money, have more opportunity, have that time with family and friends to do all the vacations and trips you want without having to think about this process. And even to have better physical and mental health because you don't have this stressor looming over you anymore. And we're all about supporting the whole student in our program. This is why Velocity works, because it's not just about the mechanics of writing and all those things. Like, we could teach those very easily. It's about all the other, what people call maybe soft skills about navigating this process, is where we really come in handy to help you all finish the process. So if you're interested, go ahead and apply to work with us at www.velocitydissertation.com, or you can scan the QR code here on the screen. I want to say thank you all so much, as always, for watching this episode from ABD to PhD show. I'm your host, Dr. Ramon Goings, founder of Done Dissertation, and I look forward to seeing you all in our Velocity Group coaching program, or at least jumping on the next episode. So real quick, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, watching us on Facebook, wherever you're watching, go ahead and shoot me a DM and let me know your thoughts about this episode, or drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to catch up with you. And then also, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page and hit the notification bell so that you know when the next episode is coming out. But until next time, I will see you all